Welcome to Sky Bar.
Hi, we're the Marlborough Junior Reporters, and we're here at Sky Bar today. Thank you, Frank, for having us here at Sky Bar.
Hey, thanks for coming. It's great to have you here.
I have a couple questions for you. So my first question is, what do you enjoy most about working here?
I think just the variety. There's so much that I can do with both the Sky Bar, with making Sky Bar fudge, Sky Bar hot chocolate, testing out new recipes. We're trying out Oreos wrapped with Sky Bar fudge. We've made this delicious, freshly made bread this morning with some Sky Bar fudge rolled inside. So definitely the variety of what I get to do at this job.
My next question is, what is the hardest part of what you kind of do here at Sky Bar?
Chocolate is very temperamental, and you don't always know that something has gone wrong till the end of the process. Now you've got bars you really can't sell. Thankfully, we've recently found ways to use these reject bars in, again, making fudge, hot chocolate. We're going to be trying out brownies and all that stuff. The hardest part is the frustration when something goes wrong and we don't know about it till the bitter end. This is our toy store candy store. You can see our lovely train going around the top of the store with historic covered bridges typical to New England. And historically, the bridges would be painted in the colors of the railroad line itself. What we've done is I also do historical reenacting, and I'm in a Revolutionary War British unit, so red for the red coat, and then green facing for the facing of my regiment. So, see, we've got all these lovely toys and games, all of these candies, a lot of nostalgic candies, moon pies, 100 grands, ice cubes, cannoli bars, imported Icelandic chocolate, some Skippy bars, and flavored lava.
Oh, that's... I'm sorry, what?
Flavored lava.
Okay.
Ant candy, earthworms. It's good. There's the consistency of puffed candy.
All right, I will take your word. This is what I think we should...
My next question is, have you ever been on a cooking show or wanted to be on a cooking show?
I have never been on a cooking show. It interests me. I would love to be on an amateur cooking show or reenact a cooking show with friends and do it that way, as opposed to a professional cooking show with the additional pressure and all that. I'd much rather just have fun with it.
Okay. Passing the mic over to Sophia.
Hello. So my question is, what is your favorite thing that you have made here?
As of right now, the best thing I feel I've ever made is I've made a breakfast sandwich. So imported Irish sausage with cheese, very buttery scrambled eggs, wrapped up, cooked directly into our fresh baguette roll. And cooking it directly inside allows the dough to soak up all the juices. So it was incredibly flavorful.
Okay, my next question is this the only location in Massachusetts?
So this is the only location of Duck Soup and Sky Bar. We are a standalone store.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anna. It's nice to meet you. And one of my questions is, what is the main component when making a normal Sky Bar?
That is an excellent question. So obviously, the Sky Bar itself is the chocolate on the outside, but then you have the 4 independent centers. So the vanilla center is its own center. It has a whole different process from the others. But the caramel, the fudge, and the peanut all have a caramel base to it. We make the entire candy bar from scratch, including the centers next door. The main component when we're making a Sky Bar is definitely that caramel base, which is the basis of course, the caramel, the peanut, and the fudge.
All right. And my second question is this a family-owned business?
It is. It was started in 1971 by friends of the family, and when they were looking to retire in 2014, my mom purchased it from them and then pillaged me from an accounting department. And she brought me in to help her run it. And then when NECO went under in 2018, we were able to get the Sky Bar at auction. And we built out next door in 2019 and started production of the Sky Bar.
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome. Don't lose your cool Trivial Pursuit, Apples to Apples, The Labyrinth, Dark Crystal, Jurassic Park.
So how long did it take to essentially build the train tracks and just really get all of these games, candy, toys, and shelves?
We have a really good general contractor that we've used for years and years and years for a lot of different things. They were actually able to build all this from February of 2019, and it was ready by, I think, June or July of that year.
Wow.
Very, very fast. But to figure out what we want to have in here and find the vendors who would sell it to us and get the right mix and the right displays, that took a lot longer. The current iteration that you see right now was kind of summer of last year. When we first started, we'd had these as two separate stores. In 2020, we had to shut down. So it was closed and just not used for months and months and months. And what we ended up doing in order to just be able to really merge our two stores together is we punched through, as you see right now, and that's really allowed this store to flourish. We get a lot more candy in here now, a lot more foot traffic. We've really been able to build up our games.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
What were you guys like doing in the pandemic?
We are considered a grocery store and also food manufacturing. So we were able to stay open. We were closed very briefly, where we're doing curbside pickup only. What was really good about that was it kind of gave us some downtime to reorganize how our store was laid out. Being closed allowed us to open up the aisleways, rearrange the tables and the displays.
My last question for you is, what kind of allergies are you aware of here at Sky Bar?
All of them. I would say the biggest ones we run into would be gluten for celiacs and nut allergies, peanut allergies. So I've done a lot of work trying to find candy, crackers, snacks that are nut-free and gluten-free. And there's a lot of really good ones out there now that are hitting the market. There's some really good brands that, great for celiacs, great for people with nut allergies, great for vegans. There's a couple lines I've been able to find where I would recommend them to anybody, whether you had an allergen or food preference or not. So we're going to continue on through. Up there, we have a citation from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts recognizing us saving the Sky Bar. This is very, very rare because we pretty much never let anybody through there. So, ready to come on in? Yeah. All right. The machines are modern made. They were made specifically for us. That allows us to work with a much smaller team, which means we're able to have a really good production in a very limited amount of space. This is the cooking area. This is where we will make the centers from scratch. So your caramel center, your peanut center, your vanilla center, and your fudge center. It's an electric cooker that we use. So we'll put our raw ingredients in these big kettles, throw them on the cooker, heat it up to the proper temperature for the proper amount of time, all the various sugars and oils and flavors and everything. Once we have made our center, after cooking them, we have to let them sit out and cool for a while longer.
So one of my questions is, what is the most difficult allergy that you cater to?
I would probably say soy. It's very hard to find products that don't have soy in it. That's definitely the hardest one that we've had to work with.
And does the food industry not allow as many options for people with soy allergies?
People are becoming more aware of it. The industry is becoming more aware of soy as an allergen, but it's become a lot of foods are very dependent upon soy, so they're only now beginning to find alternates for it. So there are soy-free foods out there, but the quality of them can be very hit or miss right now, whereas foods that are gluten-free, are nut-free, they've had time to mature, and the quality levels, the taste levels are up about where they should be.
And my last question is, are you hoping to expand more on foods with that cater to people with allergies?
I'm always on the lookout for foods that are good for different allergens. Sugar-free is another big one where I'm trying to find good sources for them, good flavored foods.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Josh, and my first question for you is, does the Sky Bar and Duck and Soup, they do any community programs that would allow others to come see how you guys make your foods?
Members of the public can always come in and see us baking and can watch through the viewing windows us making the Sky Bar. And we're more than happy to answer questions and show people what's going on. As far as actually getting into the manufacturing part itself, while we are making the bar, unfortunately, the size isn't big enough to allow for that. But we can always show people through the viewing windows.
My second question for you is, when I was on your guys' website looking at the history of Sky Bar, it said that you guys discontinued. I didn't read the entire thing, but it mentioned something about the Sky Bar being discontinued.
So it was discontinued in 2018 once NECO went under and they ceased production. We started up production again in late 2019, and we were able to reintroduce it in November of that year. And then we've been going ever since. Once we've made our center and we're ready to dump it in, we'll lift the lid off. Whoop! So you can smell that peanut coming out. So this is one of the holding tanks. We have 4 tanks. One, again, the 4 centers, the caramel, peanut, vanilla, and fudge. So this is the peanut tank. We usually hold the peanut about 90 degrees. Most of our centers we hold between about 88 degrees and 95 degrees. You can feel your hand on the tank. You can put your hands here, and you can see that even though it is quite warm, it holds the temperature beautifully. It's very well insulated. So the outside of the tank is actually quite cool. So, yeah. So, and that's one of the reasons why we have to be careful when we put the centers inside. It can't be too hot. So this is our main chocolate tank. You felt how cool that tank was. Put your hand quickly against this one, and you can see the difference at what we keep that temperature at. So that's at 115 degrees. It is hot. We heat it up to 115 degrees, and what that does is it breaks down the structures inside, helps it melt, helps it flow, but most importantly, it's that crystalline structure that it's breaking down.
My last question for you is, what is your position here and how did you get to it?
So I am the store manager of Duck Soup, and I'm the production manager of Sky Bar. And my mom owns both companies, so she brought me in to help her run it. So got it through my mom.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, so my last question for you is, do you have kids, and if you do you hope that they continue working here if they do?
So I don't currently have kids. I definitely, if I ever have kids, I would definitely want them working here. I definitely want them to eventually take over.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Oliver, and I was wondering, as a chocolate maker, do you think of yourself as a Willy Wonka type?
I do. I definitely have this. I feel like I definitely have the spirit of Willy Wonka. I love confections. I love playing around. I love whimsical stuff. And I would love to be able to have, at some point in time in the distant future, a fun factory based on the movies. I just think it would be an incredible experience for people to come in. So I do think I definitely share a spirit with Willy Wonka.
Cool. As you mentioned earlier, you were trying to make like a chocolate-covered Oreo. How do you come up with these chocolate innovations?
So there's two main ways that I'll do it. I'll see something that just puts an idea into my head and say, oh, this seems kind of cool. Can I replicate it, maybe improve upon it? Other times I'll be confronted with an issue. We have a lot of broken Sky Bars. If we have a very bad run, there's a lot of rejects. Well, what do we do with that? We don't want to throw it out. There's a ton that we would have to find a way to sell, or I can make it into something new. And then from there, all right, well, how can I repurpose it? What can I do with it? How can I make it into something new? So we went from having these broken bars to, well, I know I can melt them down. It's a very good taste, so I can make a fudge out of it. Now I have a ton of fudge. Well, what can I do with the fudge? And from there, well, what else do we do with fudge? Well, like a cookie Oreo is really tasty. A brownie is very, very tasty, so I can cover an Oreo with fudge. Another thing we're trying is fudge-filled candy bars, which is also very, very tasty.
Thank you.
Now you'll see there's three settings. There's a melt setting, there's a cool setting, and there's a temper setting. We have to go from this 115 degrees. First we go down to 82 degrees. That cold temperature allows crystalline structures to reform. A properly tempered chocolate is going to have that nice snap to it, that nice shininess to it. And when you eat it, it's going to be nice and smooth. If you ever have a chocolate that looks kind of dull, or you bite into it and it tastes kind of grainy, what your tongue is actually picking up on is the sugar crystals that shouldn't be there. That is a chocolate that's been improperly tempered. Usually the first couple bars are out of temper. And what we do is we now save these, and these are going to be used for Sky Bar Fudge. These are all bars that we would be otherwise completely unable to use, either as an oopsie, which we sell for $1, or we sell tubs of broken bars for 50 cents. Now we're saving them and using them for fudge. So it takes about 2 hours to fully melt a full tank of chocolate from the discs that it comes in as to be fully melted and able to start the cooling process. We found that fluctuations in heat, especially fluctuations in humidity, random air currents, almost all those things can end up affecting the bars at some point from start to finish, which we won't know about until we have fully made everything and fully cooled. This is for the molds. So right down here we have a mold lift. So this will hold the molds in place as the conveyor belt moves them along one at a time. Next we have the mold heater. The mold heater is what heats up the molds to get it to the proper temperature. Then we have one last person sitting here at the end. They're going to be the ones pulling the molds off the conveyor belt, putting them into the rack. And when they have a full rack, the individual loading the molds can run on down and bring the full racks into the cooler. So if you poke your head in there, you can get a nice chocolatey smell.
Smells like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
Yep.
I didn't know what that smells like.
I had a dream about it.
This is what Chris is doing now. He's demolding the bars from the run we did earlier. So you can see, just picking up the molds, turning them over, giving them a little twist to pop them out. Now, as he goes along, he's checking to see how they are. Are they going to be good bars we can fully wrap? Maybe they're going to be oopsies. Maybe they're going to be broken. If they're broken, they're going to be going into this box right here, which we're eventually going to turn into fudge. And pop them right out like that. So you can see all the bars that we have so far on the rack to his left. And what's going to happen when it's time to wrap the bars, our bars, because they have 4 independent sections, there's an inherent weakness to the bars. So they need these cardboard boats in order to give it additional stability so they don't break in the packaging. So we'll have one person throwing the bars onto the boats. They'll go through the wrapping machine. And so we have a heat seal. So you've got your 2 cold wrappers to help guide it. Right behind it, these are the heated wheels. So that's about 115, 125 degrees. That's literally melting the wrapper together. And then the last person is sitting right at the end, catching the bars, fully wrapped bars, sticking them into boxes. We are currently wrapping at 40 bars per minute. So every minute, whoever's sitting there has to fill almost 2 full boxes of Sky bars, just sitting there, tossing them in, tossing them in, tossing them in. So it's a very, very quick, fast process. You will definitely all get Sky bars before you leave.
It's time to taste these beautiful, delicious confections.
It's very delicious. It's awesome, 10 out of 10. Actually, 11 out of 10.
It's really scrumptious, and I like it how it's not overly sweet. And for those who do not like chocolate at all, because it's really sweet, this is it's not sweet. And I like it how it has a sort of like crunch to it, so it isn't like soggy and things like that. I really like it. 10 out of 10. Would recommend.
It's very delicious. It's scrumptious.
You stole my thing.
I'm ready.
Wow, I made it better.
There's a little bit of crunch in here. You can definitely taste the fluffiness. The chocolate is definitely a very rich and fulfilling taste. And so for my rating, I give this an 11 out of 10. Thank you.
Professional.
Tastes good, crunchy outside, soft inside.
Thank you, Frank, for having us here.
You're welcome.
And thank you for watching.
Junior Reporters.